This is the Gomez Sim Industry GXL V2, one of the latest wheels from GSI and also an improvement on the old GXL Pro that comes with a lot of improvements if you were looking for a wheel of this type. The GXL was sent by GSI for review. I have an affiliate link with them and you also can have a 5% discount using the code RANDOM. As always, all opinions are my own. GSI came into sim racing with a somewhat different way of doing things. So back in 2020 or 2021 or thereabouts, we would see Twitch streams where Gomez would show the process of building it, developing these wheels, and also showing a little bit of the business. The business grew a lot via word of mouth, supported of course by their products, and now in 2024, the really tough and excellent competition GSI has in the market is pushing them to further improve their products. The version 2 of the GXL is then one of those products that comes out of the process of improvements and customer feedback. Of course, this is a high-end, hand-assembled niche product, and therefore the price basically shows that. It starts at £705 or $875. Of course, the price can change basically on VAT and delivery and all of that. There are a few choices of sticker colors and even paddle and clutches. GSI does not offer a choice with top shifters for this wheel like some of the other brands. The version I have here is a standard prime, so basically all the stickers are very colored. You can choose other ones, and there's no clutches, just shifters at the back. That's basically it. I don't use any clutches in sim racing for the type of cars that I use with this. The wheel is an aluminum body, or like they say in America, aluminium, with a front of carbon fiber plate. The rear will have a standard mounting pattern of 6x70. That means a lot of quick releases will be able to be installed basically on the go, or you just need a very small adapter plate like I have here with the sim racing machines. There are stand buttons, 2 thumb switches, 5 rotary switches with a click, and 2x7-way funky switches. And of course, the rear shifters, but in total there's up to 57 inputs. All buttons will come pre-etched from the factory. There is no stickers, so you can customize this. So basically, if you buy it, this is essentially what you see. On the old version of the GXL Pro, GSI adds a few criticisms about the wheel. One of them was the size of the handles. They were quite chubby, and this time they decided to reduce the amount of material and sculpt it to allow for more hands to be compatible. The type of silicone is incredibly smooth, which means you probably can use this without any sort of gloves. It doesn't really feel tacky. And another criticism was the weight of the wheel. They've reduced the weight about 200 grams and without any quick release. And for this standard version, it weighs around 1.3 kilos or 1.4 if you add the clutches. While you're here, if you haven't done so, don't forget to press like and subscribe to the channel. A main point of any wheel is then, of course, the ergonomics of using it, and the GSI actually is pretty good. All the buttons are in easy reach of the thumb. The handles are extremely comfortable. The buttons have a very precise feel. There's no movement until a certain force is reached, and then it has a short throw and a nice sounding click. All the buttons have a really great sound, including the shifters as well. The shifters at the back are on the soft side, so the engagement doesn't require much force, and it has a dampened feel at the end. It's really not my type of shifter. I prefer a heavier shifter with a bigger click, but there's really nothing wrong with this for most people because it is well calibrated. And also the rotaries at the center will have very good weight, including the clicks. There is one point about this wheel and essentially about the new wheels on GSI that completely excels everything out there, and that will be the eye candy. First of all, this wheel has an immense number of LEDs inside. Almost every single button is illuminated, bar the funky switches that will be having a dedicated status LED called the M1 and the M2. The LED diffusion layer, adding with the software controls from SimHub, make this wheel a personal light show that gives out so much information from pit speed limiter, engagement, flags, or even when a car is beside you. It's eye candy, but it's really useful as well. There are a few colorway choices present in the SimHub software. GSI wheels are running their own software called SimOS, which is a place to update the wheel firmware for more features as they come and to change some settings in the wheel like clutch bite points, encoder settings, and also power usage. It's available at their own site. I really like using this wheel. It's my opinion that GSI made the correct choice of making a different mold for the handles, because it is definitely much more ergonomics than the real one. And after a long time of usage, it does feel easy on my hands. The weaker shifter magnets may also be lighter on the hands, and the ergonomics with the buttons are top notch. There's no need to stretch the hands or to reach a button, minus of course the center rotaries. The button press force makes sense. At longer sessions I have had no problems with any hand cramps. The only thing I really feel that is missing, it's thumb rotaries with the click, but that's more a want than a need. The rotaries with clicks help to add some functions to clean up the assignments. As for the wheel itself, it is incredibly rigid, there's no torsion, everything is well assembled. The over 50 buttons to be assigned means that it is unlikely that you'll ever need any extra buttons at all. The godlike LED mode of this wheel helps a lot. The animations make it simple to understand if there's a flag, someone by your side, or something else. I really think that GSI went absolutely next level with the LED setup they have done, and with all the LED integrations in SimHub. It goes to a point that it could even make some of your decisions of buying a flag box completely irrelevant. Okay, let's talk about downsides, because I have found a few. Even though that the wheel isn't particularly heavy at 1.3 kilos, it has some still extra weight, especially if you add the shifters and all of that, to the point that is about 100 grams heavier than other wheels that I've installed in the sim rig. That means if you're running something like a 5mm wheel, that will definitely be on the low side. GSI recommends 8 Newton meters, but then I have figured out that on a Logitech DD11, you know, the Logitech direct drive, it would be better to run it at around 9 to 10 to completely go against of the weight, and you know, the weight always drowns out some of the force feedback features. Secondly, this wheel is thirsty for power. I have a powered hub and it needs to be on a 1.5 amp port to support high power. Having a powered USB hub should be on your shopping trolley if you don't have one, but regardless, even if you have one, unless there's a high output port, it's unlikely you'll run it at high power. In my hub, I've had a couple of wheel crashes because of how thirsty this wheel is, even on a high output port. Following the LED brightness, even at low power, the 3103 LEDs are incredibly bright and have no diffusion at all. So depending on your height and how high you're going to put your wheel, it might be going directly to your face, and if you have some sort of glasses that might interfere or might condense the light, this might hurt you a little bit. The last point may or may not be a downside for you. These buttons are pre-etched at this price point. That means you cannot change the caps or anything like that. So if you are one of these people that like to customize your own wheel, you're not going to have much luck with this. As for conclusions, it should be obvious that I really like the GXL V2. It is an excellent wheel, well built, has a nice feature set, it is ergonomic, and pretty much everything makes sense here except for the M1 and M2 status that could be done a little bit different. Summing it up, the GXL V2 shows exactly why GSI is so beloved in the sim racing space. It has a top-notch construction, it has really useful feature set, it has a personal, incredibly useful light show to the point that it can forgo some other equipment that does some of the same information that this wheel does, and also the price isn't really that bad for all of that. If you need an extra screen on top, there's the FP V2, and that's probably a review for next time. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to press like, subscribe, and tell us what you think about this wheel in the comments.